Welcome to Tinnacity Talks, where real people share real stories about the best and brightest in mobile field service. I'm your host, Katie Duvall, better known to the industry as Katie from Kentucky. And today we're heading up to Northeastern Ohio to talk with a team that's been the leader of the region's supply chain for over 50 years. Williams Toyota Lift isn't just a forklift dealership. They're a total solutions powerhouse. From high-tech warehouse design to the reliable Toyota iron on the floor, they handle it all. But as any veteran in this game knows, you don't just stay on top for 5 decades by standing still. You have to evolve. Joining me today to share how they've traded in that old school paperwork for some high-speed digital service are two people who keep the engine running. Service Manager Jason Froman and Office Manager Allison Sickafoose. Jason and Allison, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So you guys are brand new to the Tinnacity family. Just to set the stage for our listeners, exactly how long have you been live on the platform, and what was that day one feeling like in the office and the shop?
A little background, I created the paperwork that we've been using for at least since I've been here for about 20 years. So to try to ask all the technicians to jump onto something digital was a game changer for us. We knew it would be. We've been looking forward to it forever because it's always a backlog when you got paperwork. It was just constantly trying to find where or what was going on. But the first day feeling was kind of nervous. We were ready to rip the Band-Aid off. I know that.
For sure.
But
yeah. And we've been on Tinnacity just 3 weeks now.
Yep, it's the third full week. The technicians have taken to it very well.
Yeah, it sounds like a huge milestone for you guys. Since the memory is still fresh, paint me a picture of what a typical Monday morning looks like before Tinnacity. And what was maybe the biggest time sucker or task that would just slow everything down?
Typical Monday morning was, okay, what did we do Friday? Gathering piles of paperwork we have 23 technicians that are out on the road. So making sure we had all of them. Sometimes we did, sometimes we didn't, but we tracked down what ones we did have, and then just the scanning, because we had to scan each paper in, each work order in. We had to make sure there was an actual work order open in our business system, and passing that, I call it a baton, basically, to each department. Hopefully we didn't lose anything in the route. We're a small place, but it's amazing that you can get a pack of paper to somebody, and then it gets to the last person, and there's something missing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that was the biggest thing, was just the piles of greasy, dirty paper, and we just passed them along. I think the biggest problem for us was deciphering what was on the paper. Everybody writes different. Everybody writes their part numbers a different way. Sometimes their part numbers weren't there. So just trying to find all of the things was a huge time killer for us.
Yeah, it's pretty frustrating when you spend your most productive hours just trying to organize all the chaos instead of actually helping your customers. So I bet that data debt really starts to weigh on your team after a while.
Yes, for sure.
It's been a struggle. I'm part of the Toyota Lean Management Program, trying to come up with processes to speed up and get rid of all the wasted time. Paperwork was our biggest wasted time.
Mm-hmm.
We did
process mapping.
We did process mapping.
Yep.
The work order process was the first one we did. It was about a 2-day process just to map it. And then afterwards, it's like all the time of our dispatchers were spending on other than dispatching was crazy when we figured it out. Like all their time was spent on being reactive from stuff the day before, not being proactive and scheduling ahead.
Yeah. And I mean, all of those paper piles, that didn't stop that Monday from proceeding. So we were working on paper piles from the week before while taking phone calls, while trying to dispatch technicians, and just that backlog. I mean, it could be 48 hours or more, before the technicians even got it here. And that was just revenue that was out there not being captured.
Yeah, you're not alone. Being days behind, trying to catch up to everything. And then I can't even imagine what it was like to come in on a Monday morning with what happened, maybe over the weekend or what happened late Friday as well. So Williams has been successful for 50 years doing things a certain way. Was there a specific aha moment or a final straw that made you guys realize the old manual process just wasn't cutting it anymore? Maybe we need to look into something else.
22 to 23, we really started growing. We went from 36 employees to about 75-ish.
Yeah, we doubled in size almost in like 2 years' time.
Yeah. And it's been apparent for a while that we've needed to do something different. We switched to a new business system that it took a long time to get it really rolling. So we were really nervous when we first started. We were thinking about getting Tinnacity last fall. And they were like, yeah, by March 1st, we'll be launched. I'm like, really? And they did it. And the launch was seamless. We did all the technicians in the morning, one batch. And then the end of that day, we already had a couple work orders in closed.
We were sitting in our closing meeting for HQ with Christian, and we looked up at his screen and we said, oh my gosh, there's a completed work order up there. Like day one, there it is. and I think too, like from an accounting perspective, you know, our cash flow was bottlenecked in paper. You can't collect money for bills you haven't got out. Already we are invoicing the next day. And I expect that to get even better as we get our processes down. So, I mean, in 3 weeks, we have gotten to the point where we are invoicing next day.
Very huge.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it makes total sense. It sounds like you guys reached a point where your growth was actually being capped by paperwork. And you can't scale as a total solutions provider, you know, when you're anchored down by all that manual work. So I'm so glad to hear that within 3 weeks, you're up and running. It sounds like the techs are using it well, and knowing that you have the support from us as well behind you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we did all that growth with our technicians. We didn't do it with admin. So the same amount of admin, we doubled in size, and then they just had to swamp with tons and tons more work.
Our service writer here in the office, you know, her desk would be covered with paper all day, every day. And just yesterday, I walked into her office and I looked around and I said, oh my gosh, your desk is so clean. And she's like, isn't it beautiful? She's like, I just love it, because she's not sitting there buried under all that paper. We can put things on our desk.
We can put plants on our desk now. We may actually get some oxygen in the rooms.
Right.
Yeah, I wish we had a before and after picture of her desk.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be fun.
What was the biggest anxiety or fear about moving to a digital system? Some people, for its integration scares. Some people, it's just how long it's going to take training wise to get onboarded.
A little both. We were a little anxiety because of our last business system transfer was not good. Yeah. And it was lots of problems. Like we wasn't even able to create an invoice for a month.
Our go live with our business system was terrible. There's no other way to say it. And so from the setup standpoint where I was at, I had terrible anxiety because that was the last thing I knew. You know, we went live and nothing worked. That was my biggest fear, I think.
My biggest fear was my technicians that have been around, they're aged. I have one that just last year finally got him to figure out how to send a picture on a cell phone. So like that challenge, knowing that they're getting towards the end of their careers, and then I'm going to ask them to do this big change. We only had like 3 or 4 of them, and they're actually doing very well. They're learning. They're able to teach an old dog new trick.
Right. And I think our technicians, I mean, I heard several of them say like, well, this is going to take way more time because now I have to take pictures and now I have to do all these things. I feel like most of them are already getting comfortable and they're way more efficient in the field.
So they have seen it live where they've requested a quote while they're at a customer's location, and the quote already got back to the customer, and the customer comes out and says, I already got the quote and I already approved it, while they're still there. So now that they've seen that quickness, they understand what's going on and they're getting more buy-in. Getting the buy-in from them is the hard part. This is what we're doing. Let's go.
I think the anticipation is always worse than the reality, especially for veteran technicians. You know, they all have their unique personality. They're something resistant to change, set in their ways. It sounds like they've realized that this was actually designed and built for them, not just to like track them, right? Do they feel like it's easier, it's helping them with their admin work?
They didn't want to be watchdog. They thought that was part of it, and it's not. And once they realized it's the exact same thing they were filling out on paper, they're just doing it on a tablet. And the fact that you said that it's designed for this industry, that helped them because they were really nervous. And once I told them that, they're like, well, that helps. This is just built for them. And so that was a key point to help them to relax a minute.
Allison, you're in the office. From that perspective, how many touches did a single work order require before Tinnacity, and how much of your day was just spent trying to figure out where a tech was or what they were working on or whose court the ball is in?
There were definitely a lot of touches. I mean, it would go from the tech writing it up to the dispatcher, then it would go to the parts guys, then it would come to our service writer. Sometimes our service writer would have to go back to the dispatchers if they missed something. Then it would go to our accounts receivable coordinator, and she would be sending things out. She would have to review. There was so much room for error on a handwritten work order, taking all of the things that can go wrong and catching them all as they go through. We spent a lot of our day up here in the office going back to the dispatchers and trying to find out information that we didn't have. And with Tinnacity, that information is there. I mean, it's just right there for everybody to see. So it's really just been huge. Our accounts receivable coordinator could spend an entire day getting invoices out. I asked her yesterday how it was going for her, and she said, I had my invoices emailed out in less than an hour. So yeah, so that's huge because that frees her time up to, collect money and, do the other things that she just didn't have time to do before. It's not just the technicians that are more efficient. I'm already seeing it in the office. And she would spend time too, double checking the paperwork orders with the invoice. And that was the first thing she said to me is, well, if I don't have a work order, what am I supposed to check? And I'm like, you're distributing the invoices. You're not checking them anymore because that audit process is done before you get it. So you can just distribute. And we have a lot of customers that have special requests. So it takes a bit of time for her to get through that. I knew the efficiency was going to be better in the office, but I honestly am floored at how good it is after just 3 weeks.
Well, it sounds like she can start to enjoy her job a little bit more because that was so much wasted motion. So I bet taking those steps out of the process just not only creates more breathing room for her, but for you guys as well.
Yeah. And she did make that comment too. She did tell me, like, I come in and I actually I'm not stressed out the minute I get here. She literally just said that to me yesterday. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's been really, really awesome.
There's so many touches before, but now we're just visuals. We're just looking at them visually. The tech reviews them, customer reviews them. They see they're going down through the work order before they sign it, but it's different. And I think they see a screen, they know they're putting it on that. They hit send, then they get an email. They're on. This is cool and it's legible. It's clean. It's nice.
There's no grease.
And then the dispatchers in the morning, they review the time card and then they review the work orders. Then parts is reviewing it. Then the service, there's no need for our accounts receivable to even look at them. It's way better. It's clean.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Fantastic. At Tinnacity, we pride ourselves on being more than just a software company. We want to be a partner. Since you guys are still new users, how has the Tinnacity support crew shown up when you have how do I do this kind of moments?
First thing I did was I used the AI tool on HQ, just asking it, and it said it couldn't answer the question. Pretty soon, Jack emailed me, hey, I seen AI didn't answer your question right. There's something I can help you with. Like I didn't even ask for that help, but that's the kind of support that they're giving. And then all of a sudden they send an email. So there's a personal touch. So they're reviewing this stuff all the time. And the response rate from anything I've asked for has been phenomenal.
I'm working with Aaron right now on just tweaking a few of the setups. And I mean, it's just unreal how quickly they get back to you. I also had an instance where I had asked a question in AI. It was actually Christian who reached out and he said, hey, I'm on support today. And I just wanted to give you a little bit more information on what you were asking about. And I was like, are you watching me? Like, what's going on? We do not have good support with our business systems. This is just such a breath of fresh air for us to be able to be new to something and be able to have someone that can help us when we need help.
Yeah, we almost consider ourselves an extension of your service department. So I love hearing that. We know that in this industry, later isn't an option, right? You need answers in real time so you can keep your promises to your customers. And we're glad to be in the trenches with you every day. So never hesitate to reach out to us. We're always happy to help.
Yeah, we found that out like in the beginning because of the previous business system and the support we did get. So right before launch, we're thinking, okay, we're going to have to do it this way, and this way. And then we ran it by Christian and Aaron, and they're like, no, not really. Look at, we already have this set up. I'm like, yeah, we should just ask you guys.
Yeah. Jason, you mentioned how you're on the lean management team. You know, you guys represent the Toyota name, which stands for Kaizen and efficiency and quality. Maybe speak on the difference in how those customers are reacting when they get a digital report or a quote while the tech is still on site. Like, I'm sure you guys are getting invoices out much faster than before. What does that look like?
Well, the technicians are telling me about how excited their customers are. They're coming back and saying, this is great. They love the quote that gets to them right away. We were on a call yesterday and they made a mention that if the customer gets a quote 3 to 4 days after you were there, it's really unlikely they're going to approve it, because that's where we were. With paper, it was 3 to 4 days till they got a quote. So I want to see the approval rating go up, and I want that to be at 60 to 80, and productivity for the technicians, I want that to be at 90 or above. So now we can track that. The other thing I'm going to be tracking, if you're talking about the lean stuff, is first time fix rate. We were unable to track that before. I go to a conference every year for the Toyota Lean Champions and stuff. Last year they did pick me as the Toyota Lean Champion of the Year. So I got to step it up a little bit this year. And this is definitely going to help me do that.
Well, congratulations. That's an amazing honor. Like you said, it's almost like speed to quote is speed to cash.
Yes.
And removing that waste. When a customer gets that quote or report instantly, it reinforces that Williams brand, that name, being a professional choice. It just raises the bar for everyone, I think.
It makes us stand out if we want to stand out.
You know, from an accounting standpoint, every part number we missed, every labor hour we missed, that's cash. That's revenue that we did not capture. And we don't have to worry about that now.
No, it's all there. I'm excited to see what happens whenever we get the customer portal. That's going to be a game changer for customers, and that's what's really going to drive our customers. Then we can get more text, then we can grow further, and admin doesn't have to feel the strain.
Right.
Yeah, it's not only that Tinnacity is helping you be efficient, it's helping you scale.
Yes. Now we can see further into the future and see where we want to be.
So I'm curious how the daily vibe has changed between those departments. Are there less finger pointing now that you aren't chasing paper and that you guys have more visibility?
Yes. We do something weird here at Williams, because we have an office that the field service coordinators, our dispatchers, and our parts personnel are in the same room. So we put the parts and the service in the same room, so they get along. We kind of have to.
Yeah.
But whenever paperwork was going around, they could just talk. They didn't have to get up and walk anywhere. It's quieter. It is faster.
I think it's better with the front office, to the next office with the dispatchers and parts, because like you said, it's all the way to accounts receivable, and now we can't send it out and we have to go back. And because this person didn't do this, or we have to call the tech. Well, who should call the tech? There was a lot of that going on. It's just gone. It's really, really nice.
When the front office would go back to the field service coordinators, that they felt like, my job's done. I got it from my technician. I scanned it. It went to parts. They felt like they were done with the work order. Mm-hmm. And it was hard to get it across to them that, no, you're not done with that work order until it's invoiced and we're paid for. No more finger pointing.
Yeah. It's a piece of paper, but there were so many touches. It would be scanned in. We could see the scan, but it never got up to the front office for billing. Where did it go? That's a big mystery around here. We would kind of laugh about it, because where could it have gone? But we don't have any of that anymore.
Don't have to worry about that anymore.
No ghost paperwork.
Ghost paperwork. It stops everybody wondering from who messed up? Where is this? Where is that? All the chasing and finger pointing. It's just, like we said earlier, it makes people just enjoy their job a lot more when they don't have to do all that. A lot less drama.
Yes.
It's simple. It's logical.
It's easy because it's genuine. I mean, it's really working well for us. So
I know it's only been a few weeks, but what's one piece of advice each of you would give to another dealership that's currently on the fence about switching to a digital platform, specifically Tinnacity?
My only look back, the technicians, we had them all in one big group in our front warehouse. It's kind of loud in there. We have some new techs, and they're savvy on tablets. For the seasoned techs, I think that we should have had a smaller group and done it in split sessions.
Yeah, I think my biggest advice would be not to try to wait for a time when it's convenient or when you think you're less busy, because you're always going to be too busy to think you can make a change like this. And, every lost work order, every misread part number, every lost labor hour is cash flow. I remember when Christian said to us, I think it was on Monday and we were going live on Wednesday. He was like, so you guys ready for Wednesday? And I felt it. Like I physically felt it in my stomach, because I know what we went through in our last go live. And I'm like, we don't have time for this. We're too busy. But you're losing money, and you're never going to be less busy, and you have to just rip the Band-Aid off and go.
You can either deal with that temporary pain of the transition or the permanent pain of an outdated system. Like you said, it's never the right time. Just do it. Jason, what was your very first job and how old were you?
First paid job where I turned in W-2s was washing dishes at Dutch Valley Restaurant. I was 14. There used to be an old steakhouse here that was famous for the world's largest steak here in East Sparta, called Bear Creek. Mom took me there when I was like 9 to help her prep cook at 4 a.m. She was the prep cook out there, so I was very familiar with the restaurants. Always been a morning person, so it wasn't too bad. Restaurants and service work, though, it's what I learned from it, because service doesn't have hours. There's emergencies come in whenever. If you're in a restaurant and they close at 8 o'clock and a bus comes at 7:30, the boss doesn't want to shut down doors. You got the grill clean, you've got everything ready to go home thinking you're going to be off early. No, you're there till 10:30 because you just had to feed 40 people on a bus. But that's service life. You're taking care and you're serving. So that's where I learned that.
That's wonderful. I'm glad your big person taught you. Get in there at a young age, because I think learning in the service industry is, in my opinion, one of the best, most important things to do as an adolescent.
My first job was working for my dad. My dad was a trap shooter, and he ran a trap shooting club. And so I had to go down and sit in the trap house and actually put the little clay targets on the little arm, and it would throw them out whenever somebody would push a button. And I hated it, but I think I made $12 every Wednesday night doing that or something. I wanted to be the person outside pushing the button, because to me that was the glorified job. But my dad wasn't about that, so we learned how to work our way up. And it actually is part of the story of how I ended up at Williams, because he ran this trap shooting club with his very good friend, who is Red Williams, who was our owner before Andrew, his son, took over. About an hour away from my house at a job doing accounting, which is what I studied and it's what I love to do. He had got a hold of me and said that his office manager was retiring, and he thought of me and wondered if I would be interested in coming to work here. So I had just had my daughter. She was about 8 months old. So I came to work here. I can walk back and forth to work. So that early job for me, paid off, because here I am now today. So
I had to Google trap shooter because I didn't know what that was. Can you still fire a gun? Do you fire the gun?
I never did. My dad always wanted to teach me to shoot.
Okay.
I didn't want to do. I was afraid to pull the trigger, because I would watch some of these guys stand out there and the kick from the gun. I was just afraid to pull the trigger. So never shot the targets ever, not once.
Well, I learned something new today. So, Jason, when you're out of the office, what is the one hobby or passion project that maybe you have that helps you relax or completely resets you?
My dad built a truck, a 52 Ford truck. He built it in the 70s, and I grew up with it. We used it on the farm. We had it everywhere. And then I ended up with it, brought it home last fall. So that's my relax. I get in the garage, turn the radio on, and I've been taking the truck apart, and I'm going to put it back together. So restoring old cars.
Very Tim the Toolman Taylor like.
Yeah, just out in the garage. I got shirts that say I'll be in the garage. So
yeah. So I do like to scrapbook. Myself and one of the other girls that actually works here, we go to weekend retreats sometime and make scrapbooks. We have fun and we relax. And doing things with my family. We're a big sports family. So both of the girls are now coaching softball at different high schools. So we like to be on a field somewhere or or a court. My husband's a basketball coach, so lots of sports in our family.
I love it. I think scrapbooking is one of those things that has almost left. Everything's so digital now. And having 2 young kids myself, I'm constantly have this anxiety that I need to print all these things out. I need to make them books so they know what they look like as a baby.
But there are a lot of ladies that come and they bring up their computer and a big monitor and they do digital scrapbooking, but they get away from home so they can have time to do it. Yeah. But it's definitely changed a lot. I'm old school though. I still like the paper.
If I handed you a 2-week trip to anywhere in the world for free and you have to hop on the plane tomorrow, where are you going?
Wow. Well, given that I'm terrified to fly.
What if you could teleport?
If I could teleport, I think I would go to Spain. I just think that the culture is very fun and the buildings and the architecture seems like a beautiful country. So I would say Spain or Australia. Australia probably for the same reasons. If I could teleport, probably will never go if I have to fly.
One day I'll hold out hope for you there.
Yeah.
Jason, what about you?
Well, my daughter and her fiance went to Thailand last year, and it was just downright gorgeous. I wouldn't mind just going to Hawaii for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind Hawaii either.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up, I want to just open the floor to you guys. If there's a specific success story or a win for the Williams team, or just something about your Tinnacity journey so far, maybe something we haven't touched on yet.
The win so far is the ease of the service app for the technicians. The technicians that are seasoned, that were digitally challenged, that are grasping it. The first couple of days, like I said before, were lots of phone calls, lots of troubles, and then they just stopped and then slowed down. And I think they were just too nervous about if they didn't get this, they were going to get fired or something. And we were totally not going to do anything like that. We worked with them, and it was one-on-one. We allowed other technicians that got it to go with them. It took some training and that's cost on our side of it, but they're there now and they're getting it, and they're not stressed. I don't want people to work in stress. That's never fun. I don't want to come to work and be stressed, and I don't want anybody else to. So that's the biggest win, is the relief that we've gotten so far. Every day seems to get a little better and better. And I'm just excited to where we're going to end up.
I think for the office, one of the biggest wins for us is when we would walk back to the dispatch office and the parts office with a piece of paper. I feel like people didn't like to see us coming. We don't have to do that now. Everybody's doing the same thing. Everybody can see the same information, where before we couldn't see what the dispatchers saw. I love the vibe. I love where the company's going. And Tinnacity has just really been a great partner. I just can't say enough about it.
It's strange for us because we're doers and we still want to be in the trenches, but now we can be there, but we still know what's going on. I can look at the scheduling board in Tinnacity and see who's where and what they're working on at a glance in real time. And I can see by a color code if they're working on it, traveling on it, and it's quick and easy. That's what I love about it.
It's great to hear. A tech designed for technicians not only brings relief to the leadership team, it boosts morale for the office staff. I'm so excited to hear about, in a year from now, how much data you guys can see in live time and plan for the future.
Yeah, I can't see the history. Yeah. Now we're building the history, even 3 weeks worth of it, but just to see that history throughout would be awesome.
Mm-hmm. And like you said, that first time fix rate, now you can see it. Now you can watch that percentage go up as well instead of just guessing.
And then our sales tool, we tell customers and then get more customers and then more customers.
Yeah.
And then you make more money.
Yes.
For sure.
Jason, Allison, thank you so much for being here and transparent today. You guys are proof that even the most established legends can find a higher gear. To everyone tuning in, Williams Toyota Lift is setting the new standard for Northeastern Ohio. Go check them out online at williamstoyotalift.com to see what a total solution really looks like in action. Until next time, keep your head up, be the total solutions provider for your customers, and stay tenacious. See you on the next episode of Tinnacity Talks.